A pursuit by Border Patrol agents ends in a deadly Christmas night crash. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price. Kirsten has the night off. Well, this happened in Hamul just after 6 last night. Border Patrol agents say the pursuit of a Honda began as a failure to yield incident on Otay Lakes Road, but they're offering few details beyond that, citing the pending investigation. The chase ended when the driver lost control near Pio Pico Campground, went off the road, and then hit a tree head-on. CAL FIRE and the CHP say 3 of the 4 people inside that car were ejected. One of them was killed.
All patients were out of the vehicle prior to our arrival, and so it basically was over the side and brought them up without the assistance of ropes.
2 people were taken to the hospital. We're told they have major injuries. The other person had minor injuries. Their names, ages, nationalities, those have not been released. This is a developing story, so go ahead and follow us at News 8 Online for the very latest. Trash piling over dumpsters around several areas, and many wondering, will it ever be picked up? A strike by sanitation workers at Republic Services is now set to go into a second week with no end in sight, and some residents growing impatient with the sight and, more importantly, the smell of trash in their neighborhoods. News 8's Ariana Cohen has the very latest.
Sanitation workers are upset about multiple things. They want better work conditions and higher wages. It's been more than a week. They will continue to strike until they reach a fair agreement. It's the day after Christmas, which means more trash from all the unwrapped gifts.
By next week, that pile will probably be a lot bigger.
Piles of trash are overflowing dumpsters in Bankers Hill. This trash may not be picked up anytime soon.
What do we want? What do we want?
More than 250 Republic Service sanitation workers and members of Teamsters Local 542 in San Diego started rallying at 4 a.m. this morning and have continued all afternoon.
So when you guys have a fight, you look to the firefighters. We have fighter in our name. Yeah!
Tensions have remained high since the group walked off the job, going on strike for more than a week. They say they want safer work conditions, higher pay, and improved trash trucks.
It's the 5th most dangerous job in the country, and to be doing it with such poor safety vehicles that's a huge concern to all my coworkers.
You are valued. You are essential workers.
So what will it take for them to come to an agreement?
Provide a dignified wage, a good benefit, a good pension contribution, and not only that, but also dignity, respect, and the recognition that they deserve for the job that they do.
Republic Services sent a statement saying, in part, quote, Republic is experiencing significant delays in collection service, but is working to resolve this as soon as possible. We apologize for the inconvenience and are doing everything to resolve this temporary situation. Until then, it could be a smelly situation.
I'm kind of shocked. It's pretty gross.
In local neighborhoods until things change.
After Christmas, folks know at home that trash piles up, but we can't do that if we don't have a fair contract to work on. If we don't have a fair contract, that backs our job and that backs what we do.
Because the people united will never be divided. Yeah.
And Steve, it's the day after Christmas, which means a lot of trash. You can still see the overflow out of this dumpster here. And sanitation workers say they apologize for the inconvenience, but they refuse to pick it up until they reach an agreement with Republic Services. I'm Ariana Cohen for News 8.
A lot of trash and making a bad situation worse. We've got rain on the way, not just there, but across the county. Will it be clearing out, though, in time for the work week? Let's check in with meteorologist Sean Stiles here with the first look at your microclimate forecast, Sean.
Quite the contrary, Steve. We're talking about more rain heading our way. Last night, that was a fast-heading storm, came in about midnight through about 4 a.m. in the morning. And so we saw about 2/10 along the coastline, 3/10, 4/10 when you get inland, up to an inch plus in places like Palomar Mountain, and Julian almost an inch at 96/100. So we saw snow flying, but none of it stuck around as the temperatures just weren't warm enough or cold enough. Too warm up there, but it's a big different story here. We've got a winter storm warning for our mountains up into the San Bernardinos. We've got a high wind warning and a wind watch for San Diego, so some very powerful weather heading our way. And as you take a look at this Doppler radar forecast, you can see what we're talking about. The snow starts to fly in the evening around the mountains, and by the time this gets rolling through, we could pick up about 6 inches in our local mountains. In the mountains up in the Big Bear and San Gabriel Mountains, they could see up to a foot of snow by the time we get through Tuesday morning. So some very powerful weather heading our way.
All right, we've been warned, Sean. Speaking of wet roads from that rain overnight, it appeared to play a role in several crashes in Logan Heights. The driver, Mercedes, was northbound on the 5 when her car hydroplaned. She hit the shoulder wall, then careened across all the lanes, hit the center divider. The good news, she wasn't injured. Out in University Heights, the driver of a Dodge Charger lost control on El Cajon Boulevard and crashed into that street light there. He was taken to the hospital with a head injury. A cruise ship that left San Diego for Mexico last week returned this morning after a change in plans due to a COVID outbreak on board. News 8's Brian White at the port of San Diego earlier today. He got reaction from passengers.
The cruise ship you see behind me is Holland America's Koningsdam, and it came back to port here in San Diego Sunday morning after Mexican authorities refused to let passengers get off the ship in Puerto Vallarta. After setting sail from San Diego last week with over 1,000 passengers on board, the Koningsdam made 2 stops in Mexico, both in Cabo San Lucas and Mazatlan, before arriving in Puerto Vallarta on Thursday.
We had our excursion all planned. We were waiting for about an hour to get off. They kept saying we're delayed, we're delayed, we're delayed, and finally the captain got on and said we're leaving in an hour, we're not getting off. That some of the crew caught COVID.
Holland America sent us this statement after the ship returned, saying in part, quote, "A small number of fully vaccinated crew on Koningsdam tested positive for COVID-19. All are showing mild or no symptoms and are in isolation. Passengers were not allowed to disembark from the Koningsdam in Puerto Vallarta as the cruise ship was turned away after 21 crew members tested positive for COVID-19. That's according to Mexican authorities. Passenger Rosemary Capuano had this to say about the inconvenience.
I had tours planned for Puerto Vallarta and people to meet, and I couldn't do it.
Okay.
So that was, the low point of the trip.
From there, the Koningsdam headed back out to sea on its way back to San Diego. Holland America tried to make up for the inconvenience to passengers.
They offered us $50 extra to spend on ship and basically said, keep your masks on and enjoy the rest of your cruise.
A new group of passengers boarded the Koningsdam Sunday afternoon as the ship prepared to set sail again for another 7-day trip to Mexico. Susan and Richard Gillespie are from Nipomo, California, and they felt safe enough to board the ship.
No concerns. I'm careful and we're fully vaccinated.
We reached out to Holland America about the safety measures taken in order to safely set sail again today, and they responded with their standard protocols, saying in part, quote, "Current operating procedures require all team members and guests to wear a mask in all indoor areas of the ship, and all areas are frequently disinfected." I'm Brian White for News 8.
Brian, thanks. Well, the Koningsdam isn't the only cruise ship hit by a COVID outbreak. Today, 2 cruises returned to port in Florida after virus troubles at sea. The Carnival Freedom and Royal Caribbean Odyssey of the Seas were both denied entry by several island nations after dozens of crew members and passengers on board each of those ships tested positive. Another cruise ship, the MSC Seashore, returned to Florida Thursday after 28 reported cases on board. San Diegans treated to musicians and dancers at a special Kwanzaa celebration this morning. It's the 41st annual Kwanzaa celebration held at the World Bee Cultural Center in Balboa Park. The event celebrates African culture and reaffirms family, community with live music, African drum and dance, and a traditional Kwanzaa ceremony. Kwanzaa was created back in 1966. The goal is to offer people of African descent a holiday to celebrate their heritage and offer an alternative to Christmas.